Daniel says he's got something. We can spy on him. Cool. Daniel wants to be spied upon. Daniel has bought tons and tons and tons of gun storages. Daniel has bought tons and tons. Damn, Daniel, where did all of this money come from? So your gun storage should be fine. Gun storage is still plodding along okay. Now these two have gone down in price. Meta was correct. Meta was very correct that these have bottomed out a bit. But we can easily explain that. That's not too hard. We knew how this was going to play out. So this spiked up in price with the momentum thanks to the confirmation bug that happened. So confirmation bug happened and it made it appear a whole lot more valuable because suddenly there was hardly any quantity on the market. People noticed they wanted to list all of theirs at a higher price than they did. So many listings appeared, but they all listed them at a much higher price. Loads of people were hyped potentially to see the Black Gold Tier 3 appearing yesterday. What happened? It didn't happen. It didn't happen and people gave up. A lot of people have thrown their buy orders away. They've thrown more of these onto the market. They gave up. They got upset. And you know what's weird? The guy that was making the very high quantities, he's disappeared as well. The guy that was dumping has disappeared. Suddenly that big obstacle's gone. I don't know what happened. Was it on purpose? Why would you do that on purpose? That's incredibly stupid. That's incredibly stupid if you've done that. Or doing it, planning to do it. Don't list it in one huge heap. Sell them in batches of 5 or 10. 10's okay if it's really in demand. You know, it'll just come and go. Like, gone. Because, as we expect, we do expect to see that Black Gold Tier 3 appearing soon. Now, I don't blame Face Punch for picking Skull Killer. As I said earlier, we do need more things to be invested towards. We do need to start anticipating other things. Here's my other thing. Why wouldn't you add the boots this week? That would have been perfectly fine. You could have done Skull Killer and the boots. Oh well. Will we see these in the near future? I do expect it. I do expect it to happen. A lot of people have been saying, oh, but another black set? We've had tons of brown ones. We've had tons of green. No, not tons of green, but like darky, weird coloured green ones and whatnot. What's wrong to have another black set? You know? People can complain all the time, but... Oh, thank you for the sub, Mr. Crimsy. Much appreciated. You just interrupted me. Again. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. So, yeah. Back to this. Oh, and he's throwing pennies at me again. Thanks, Crimsy. You keep doing this. Come on, man. Stop it. Alright. Where was I? Yeah. No need to worry about it. The reactionary nature of the Rust economy will always go into full gear the very second a new piece of a new core piece of a collection appears. So we already have hoodie and pants, the clothing part. Tier 3 is literally just around the corner. You know, alright, it wasn't an early pick this week. That's fine. You know, instead we'll expect it for the typical pick. And you know what? As I said earlier, Skull Killer was a typical pick. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see maybe some Skull Killer clothing or Tier 2 at some point on the workshop. Horror Meow, get on it. Clothing first. Clothing next would be best. So do hoodie and pants next. But now that this is out of the way, there is nothing else that's going to take up that slot for Tier 3 in the near future. We have a very good chance of seeing Black Gold Tier 3. Unless some other armours try and get on the market. But you know what? How well did Black Gold sell for the clothing? They sold for around 25,000 each at $249. That makes money. It prints money. I'm pretty sure Black Gold Tier 3 would print money as well. I'm pretty sure it'd sell very nicely. So let this have its time. And then in the future we can anticipate some more Skull Killer. But we've got to come back to this and add that Tier 3 at some point. We need it. We want it. We're waiting for it. And it is unfortunate that other people have started to throw theirs away. But at the moment, it is actually a lower quantity compared to yesterday because the dumper, the serial dumper that had about 60 of them on here and about 80 of them, not you. Oh, God, we're going back to other things now. The pants and the hoodie, what was I trying to say? There was one guy that had 60 on the hoodie, and there was one that had 80 on the pants in quantity around here. They've disappeared. Hopefully they don't come back. But this has a very, very great potential to spike up in price. We expect it. I bought 30 of each. Daniel, you also bought 100 of each, wherever I just put that. Here we are. Daniel, don't worry. You should be fine. Everything should be fine. What we see here, I will tell you, in the long term, it's perfectly fine. I understand people approach this in a different way. A lot of people want instant profit. That's probably not the smartest thing to do. Instant profit isn't always a guarantee. But if you see how these things usually play out, if you know the patterns of the yearly routine and whatnot, you would know that this would definitely sell very nicely when the right time comes. Post-Christmas is always a guarantee. But you know what? We haven't seen a proper summer hype happen this year. It might not happen, or it could very well happen eventually. We've still got August to go through. And as I said earlier, we do have that Twitch Rivals event. August 9th for 5 days. So many streamers involved. Hopefully it creates a spark and then everybody jumps into it. Everybody wants to jump into Rust again. Everybody wants to buy skins again. Everybody wants to throw their money into the Rust economy again. A huge boost of finances go into Rust and the prices go back up again. And we also cross our fingers and hope that the Antwerp discount actually comes. It's been 7 weeks as of last night. All we've done is wait and wait and wait. And now this is actually starting to suffer as well. That's the annoying thing. So all we can do is wait, buddy. But as of now, everything I see here, if you bought all of this from the Rust store, you've already made a profit. So that's good. But you want to make more profit. You always want to make more. Just wait it out for a bit. Things will improve. Let's just wait and see. So, yeah. Daniel, did you buy them? Or did you buy them from the Rust store? Or did you buy them on buy order or something? Burton, that's correct. Burton. Good job. If you're going to sell one at a time, that's fine. If you've got the time for it, that's fine. But I remember so many cases where people have just thrown everything they own onto the Steam market, and it just causes a roadblock. Nothing will ever naturally progress in value or rise up in price if there's a massive, big, fat quantity right here. What am I talking about? Well, as I said, Black Gold Tier 3, we are expecting it. And when we see that there's a very, very, very obvious, clear sign that we're going to get a full set of Black Gold, as in the clothing and the armour, people become a whole lot more invested in what's already available, the pre-existing core parts. They start to buy out all the quantity on the market. And as you can see, if 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, if that suddenly disappears, you've suddenly gone from a $3 skin turning into a $4 skin. What if another 10 sold? Oh, then we're at $5. You know, it's naturally progressing in value because there's a clear sudden demand for it. Now, would it maintain that value? Probably. Maybe it'll spike up again when the Tier 2 appears in the later future. And the best example to show off how that all likely would play out is just to go ahead and look at what happened to Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage, hoodie and pants, right here. I've shown this so many times already, but it's the best example to show. These are currently selling for $9.70. They did suffer during the market dip, but they're still selling so much better than $249 and $199. Their prices that they sold from the Rust store. But as you can see here, March 31st, Dragon Rage Tier 3 appears. Spike in price. It goes from about $4, shoots up to about almost $10. And then another month later, towards the end of April, Dragon Rage Tier 2 appears. Goes up and up and up and up and up and up in price. It goes from about $8 to $9, shoots up to about $14 to $15. Very, very nice. This is what I'm hoping to see with Black Gold. Now, you also got to realise, well, hang on a minute. If this appeared, when did Black Gold first appear? On the March 17 Rust store rotation. Well, 2 weeks later, then we got the Black Gold, the Dragon Rage Tier 3. This is a situation I was anticipating for Black Gold, but it didn't happen. But just because we didn't have one after just a single week, because this happened in between for Dragon Rage, it doesn't mean it won't happen the week after. So there could be a 2-week gap. So that is to be expected. We've now got a 2-week gap. Will we get Black Gold Tier 3 next week, July 28th? I'm expecting it. I'm hopeful. I'm anticipating it. It was kind of wishful thinking to expect Black Gold Tier 3 this quickly. It only appeared this Monday. And it obviously, you've got to understand, typical picks are most likely. They are the ones that will appear in TGG's list. They are the ones that will get shown to Face Punch directly to them. They will see it, and then that will get their attention first. But I'm very, very, very sure they were well aware of Black Gold Tier 3. But they also realised, well, damn, we can't just have everything we can't just have the only thing to look forward to being Black Gold. We do have to start setting up some other things. So yeah, this is why this has appeared. Do you remember when we were hoping to see Copper get its next pieces? So Copper had all of its pieces except Tier 3 at this point, and the Tier 3 appeared the next week on the workshop, and we were crossing our fingers, and we hoped that it would appear on the June 2nd update. Well, what happened was it seems Face Punch wanted to properly promote all of the weapon skins that had their recalls updated. Not weapons, they want weapon skins. Sorry, I got that wrong. What they did was they got a whole bunch of weapon skins for all of the weapons that had their recalls updated, to kind of subliminally make you buy the skins and want to actually get the gun in-game to test out and use. Make sense? So they didn't want Copper Tier 3 to take up all of the attention. They wanted these weapon skins to sell well, so they did all of that without Copper. But then they realised, well, hang on a minute, why don't we throw out another new set whilst this is going on, and then we have 2 things to look forward to whilst Copper waits for Tier 3. So they threw out Berserker Face Mask and Chestplate. And then I believe about 2 weeks later, we had Berserker Hoodie and Pants come out with Copper Chestplate and Face Mask. This was a wonderful week. We had 2 very nice bumps in price for the things that we were invested in. And then not too much later, we then had Berserker Tier 2 come out, and all of the Berserker stuff went up in price. Berserker, you flourished and rose up in price very, very nicely. The weird thing is that Berserker Face Mask and Chestplate, they have gone down in price. It's very weird. When they first started, they sold at around 20,000 each, but then the clothing only sold around 12,000. And then the Tier 2 only sold around 12,000 as well. So, even though Berserker Face Mask and Chestplate started off the set, they had the most amount sold. They accidentally were oversaturated when there was nothing else to compare it with, which is odd. So there's too many of these 2 in circulation in comparison to all of these. So, yeah, that's why this is suffering. But these have done well. This is the actual main sort of total value. Okay, what am I trying to say? In circulation, there can only be up to around 11,944 proper sets of Berserker out there. That would mean that there's about 10,000 excess Berserker face masks and chest plates in circulation. There's too many of the Tier 3 in comparison to the clothing and the Tier 2, most notably the kilt. Make sense? So yeah, that's a whole other thing. I can ramble and ramble all day long, talking about various silly things. But yeah, that's something you always got to keep an eye out. That is why I'm worried. This is why I'm worried. I'm blah, blah, my tongue's all over the place. This is why I am worried with the low poly set. So low poly clothing did spike up in price because we then got the Tier 3 armor. But what I've noticed is low poly hoodie sold at around 12,400 sales. Low poly pants sold at 13,198. As you can see there, almost 30,200, whatever. This sold 15,800 almost. This sold 16,200-ish. There's too many of these in comparison to these. Oversaturation. It's only by a couple thousand, but it's still oversaturated in comparison to these two. So these two are very likely potentially going to suffer because there's going to be too many of them appearing on the Steam market, too many of them appearing on third-party sites. Do you understand? So yeah, that could be a potential problem. But these two spiked up in price purely because these appeared. Low poly clothing wasn't looking good for a long time until that tier 3 appeared. Now we're waiting for tier 2, and I don't think we're getting any tier 2 for a while. Because the guy that made this this collection, Mr. Alpha, what did he make this week? It wasn't tier 2 low poly. No, it was workshop items. Don't know why I was struggling to find it when it was right in front of me. Yeah, he made a basketball. He made a basketball. So, yeah, we're waiting for that tier 2 appear. This is another thing to look forward to, but personally, I don't like it that much. Other people might. I understand that. So there's, different preferences, different tastes and whatnot. But this is another thing that we're waiting out for. But he needs to make that tier 2 armor. It needs to happen. Otherwise, these two and all of the low poly will only gradually go down in price because we're still not seeing it appear in the Rust store. And that is the worry with Black Gold. If we don't see the Black Gold tier 3 appear in the Rust store anytime soon, this is just going to gradually keep losing its hype, lose its interest, lose its demand, and it will gradually go down little by little, by little by little by little. Now, there is still an interest in these two because you can replace them around. You can exchange them and replace them with Dragon Rage and Blackout. They are cheaper options. So it still has some place with other bits and parts of other collections. That's fine. But we do want to see its actual own set flourish. We do actually want to see more of its actual own set. So we can only sit here and wait. I don't even know what type of question I was trying to answer there. I just talked. I just talked. What was I on about? I forgot. I don't know. Just a nice ramble about everything, all the armours and whatnot. I mean, that's what you're here for. All these people. Yeah. Yay! Hello, people. How you doing? Are you having a nice day? Are you all doing good? Me? Well, might be a bit too hot. Made me all rambly and whatnot. Oh well.